Eng after midnight print shop plate room promise on the job ticket. The print shop on Delancey behaves like a cathedral when the presses sleep. After midnight, the smell of ink gets low and serious, and the plate room holds its breath as if a mistake might hear it coming. I signed the late shift log with a pen that made me briefly honest and slid my phone into my left pocket, the pocket I use for things that are supposed to make it home. Fluorescence turned steel into weather. The guillotine cutter sat with its jaw up, a patient threat. I'd told myself I was there to check proofs. Back home, Mason had said, "Can we talk tomorrow?" in the voice that means, "Please stay now." Our couch has tenure in jurisprudence. Give it 10 minutes and it swears you in. I left before either of us could rehearse testimony we'd regret by breakfast. On the stairwell, my screen lit with a message from Jay. Jules in my contacts, Jay in the way I label hazards to make them smaller. Back doors unlocked. Just talk. Roofs forgive nobody in daylight. Plate rooms pretend they will. By day, I fix other people's paragraphs. By night, I try not to turn my own into weapons. Mason and I keep a code that works when we remember it. T means come here, you awake. Means I'm scared. Tomorrow means not yet, but don't go far. Jules drifted back into orbit 2 months ago wearing a pressman's apron the color of sins that dry slowly and a laugh that sounded like a glass agreeing to be set down gently. He didn't ask for anything. That was how I started bringing him everything. He was at the plate washer when I stepped in, sleeves pushed, collar open, hands blackened with the day's ambition. He didn't turn, he never needs to. "You came," he said. The machine hissed one more rinse and fell quiet. "I came to return something," I said. "My apron, your good sense." "Your name," I said. "It's been on my mouth too long for its own health." He shut the valve and turned with the mouth that always forgets its manners last. "3 words," he said, plucking a blank job ticket from the rack and laying it on the light table. He set a china marker beside it, white as the kind of lie that wants to be useful. "Why are you here?" "3 words is cruel," I said. "That's why they work." He slid the marker closer with ink-stained fingers that made a case I was not equipped to argue with. I wrote proud at breakfast. Beneath it, smaller like a fuse I wasn't sure I'd dare to light, touch before arguing. He read the words with the same patience he gives plates that think they know better than ink. He didn't touch me. His hand hovered a breath from my lapel as if straightening it would count as permission, then fell away like we were already being graded. "Does he know?" Jules asked. He didn't need to weaponize the pronoun. "He knows the apartment is quiet," I said. He smiled a short, reasonable smile that belongs to men who understand hydraulic logic. The press floor beyond the plate room kept its counsel, a low after-rain hum from space heaters and residue promises. Jules leaned back against the table until his hip met its edge, and I met the rest of him. He'd arrived where air had been hired to be professional. "Tell me no," he said, hopeful and decent in a way that felt like an ambush. I didn't. I met him in the inch that rewrites evenings. His mouth tasted like mint, and a plan he didn't intend to apologize for. When his hand found the back of my neck, his grip remembered humane limits. My body answered like a courtroom that wants the witness anyway. He made the sound men make when a small country surrenders and calls it diplomacy. I made the one I've forgiven in myself only when it belongs to him. We didn't rush. Plates don't reward speed. His mouth found the hinge of my jaw. Mine found the line behind his ear where regret loses vocabulary. His palm slid under my shirt and rested flat a second. "Do you swear?" And then moved with attention rather than appetite. He guided my hand down with the steadiness of someone who respects tools. I closed my fingers and he exhaled against my mouth a truth nobody paid to hear. He reached for me and I let him. We stayed quiet because steel prefers prose. The plate washer ticked as it cooled, a small metronome for honesty. "We already cheated," he said afterward, breath reacquainted with purpose. "We cheated when we started telling each other the truth before we told it at home." "I know," I said. He lifted the job ticket and slid it into my left pocket with ceremonial slowness. His thumb traced my wrist once, chose not to stay. He stepped back the moral inch that passes inspection. "I booked a room," he said, not triumphant. "Weather report, not prophecy. Refundable. We could stand at a window and not touch for 60 seconds just to prove we remember ceremony. We could keep the do not disturb honest." "I'm tired of being clever," I said. "Clever's a bleed," he said. "Accurate is the trim." He grinned once, quick and unrepeatable, then walked to the cutter and checked its guard as if precaution could put the night back where we found it. He pulled a novelty magnet from the side of the filing cabinet, a freebie shaped like a squeegee, ridiculous and perfect, and pressed it into my palm. "For your fridge," he said. "Cold helps letters behave." We sealed the plate room and switched off the light in a Ripple Last Safe Light first. Outside, the city dealt a smaller hand. The crosswalk gave me time, I took it. The apartment offered its square of kitchen light and the fridge's patient hum. Mason sat on the floor with his back against the door, sleeves pushed to his elbows, one ankle across the other, the posture manuals use when they draw people who are about to fix things. He didn't ask where I'd been. He tilted his head toward the space beside him. I sat. The kettle stared us down like an honest device that knows its job better than I know mine. "Do you want to be asked?" he said, voice steady, not performing mercy, offering it. "Please," I said, "because prompts are scaffolding when you've been building without permits." "Are you lonely?" "Some nights," I said. "Not here. Not when you ask first. Not when the kettle outruns the reasons." I took his wrist and placed his hand on my forearm the way he does when he needs to make sure I'm not inventing weather. His thumb traced once and believed me. "I feel useful," he said. "I want to be wanted before I'm useful." "Tonight's procedure," I said. "Touch first, argue second, report later." The kettle clicked like a stamp in a country that still believes in mail. He stood and poured water over mint. We named it dinner because names are cheaper than regret. I pinned the job ticket beneath the squeegee magnet so Proud at Breakfast faced the room. Mason read the words and his mouth did the smaller, braver thing. He took the dry erase marker from the cup by the fridge and wrote beneath the magnet, "Tomorrow, keep the torque." He didn't grin. He nodded like a man assembling a morning from honest screws. We made a rule that isn't noble. When prosecution tries to wear a bathrobe, one of us says plate room and the other puts the kettle on while the first puts his hands where history can find them. We agree to 5 words when 5 are enough. We stop at the shoulder, not the ditch. We try to want what we promised, and when we don't, we write 3 words on small paper and tell the room we'll fail differently tomorrow. Days do what days do when you're trying to be an amateur human with professional consistency. The ticket in my pocket learns the shape of my left hand. Paper learns its carriers. On the late bus, I draft messages to no one that begin I didn't ask because I thought that counted as kindness and end may your breakfast go right. I don't send them. The not sending feels like a skill borrowed from presses that stay true when the room forgets. A week later, afternoon tries to be a test. I walk past the shop and buy nothing. I leave a bottle of water at the loading bay with a note, "For whoever is waiting for a sister." The night man nods like a bridge that is held and will hold again. On my way home, I slip a blank job ticket into my pocket and write "turn toward your name" across the clean side. I don't light anything. That night we eat toast like it has been newly invented. We fail, and fail differently, and fail in ways that don't require anyone to stand under fluorescence pretending to know which cut will save them. The room does not demand a verdict. The morning remembers its job, and when we say tomorrow out loud, it means only what we let it mean.